Good afternoon, welcome to another video, and in today's video we'll be learning how to mount or extract bin and Q files or image and Q files like these here from this Grim Fandango PC game from the late 90s. So here I have a bin and a Q file. Very quickly, a bin is like a binary extraction of a CD-ROM image. It usually comes with a Q file which you can open in Notepad, and this tells you how the tracks are arranged on the disk. Without the accompanying Q file, you don't know which tracks are data, which ones are music, and you kind of rely on the software to work it out for you. Whereas an image doesn't necessarily need a Q file, it might have one, it's not necessary, but this is more like a bit by bit copy of the CD, for example. But regardless, these are, whichever format you have, are pretty much dumps of two CDs for this game, both in different formats, and today we'll be either creating a virtual drive or extracting the contents. So the first software I'm going to look at to do this is called WinCD, so you can Google that, WinCDEmu. It also has a GitHub page here where you can download either a portable application that doesn't require installing or an installer there as well. It's really up to you. And the other one we're going to look at is IsoBuster. This is a very old piece of software. A lot of people used to use this back in the day. You can download a 64-bit version now. The 32 works just fine, but the principle is going to be quite similar. So let's have a look at WinCDEmu and get it installed. So we're just going to download that and double click it. We don't really need to customize much unless you want to put it somewhere else, and we're going to click install. Now what WinCDEmu does is allows you to create a virtual drive from these bin and Q files. So what we're going to do here is right click the Q file, and then we'll see this new menu item appear from the installation. Select drive letter and mount. So what we want to do is just choose a free drive letter that we're not using. Over here you can see we have C and D, so I think letter X will be perfectly fine. I don't have any network drives or anything in the way. And what is this? Is this a data disk, a CD-ROM, a DVD-ROM? You should know what it is. Grim Fandango is a CD-ROM, it's a CDR file, a CD-ROM, or we can do data disk. For this, it really doesn't matter. We can disable auto run, which means it won't automatically launch the software on the disk, which is pretty good. And I don't really want to keep this when we restart the computer. I'm going to click OK. And this is all of the contents on the disk. So very simple, right? So this is like a virtual CD-ROM. Now if you play old PC games, some of these games, so the game inside the exe file requires you to have a CD-ROM. So if you're trying to launch this game in a modern version of Windows, for example, then WinCDEmu will be perfect because it tricks the software into thinking you actually have a CD-ROM. And what we can also do is go to the second disk here, disk B, right click, and also mount this to a different letter and click OK. And then we have two virtual CD-ROMs here, one with disk B and one with disk A. We can launch the software pending that Windows understands and loads this just fine, and we can run it like a perfectly good game from the late 90s. The other thing we can do is just extract the contents. So right click, copy everything and just extract it into a folder. Maybe you don't have a game, maybe you have videos and images. You can copy all of this stuff out. Just right click, copy, and put on your desktop or wherever you want. Very easy, right? Super simple. So the next piece of software we're going to look at is IsoBuster. So let's get this one installed. We want English, accept the agreements, next. And which file extensions do you want to associate? We can do 0, but for the purpose of this I'm just going to do Q images because all of our images have Q files. If they don't, you can select bin, really doesn't matter. So we'll click next. Okay, do we want desktop icons and do we want some presets here? I'm just going to leave them alone and install it. Okay, let's launch IsoBuster. And what we want to do is just use the free functions only, or we can remind ourselves later. I don't want to check for new versions. I know I have the latest one. And here we go. Here's the IsoBuster interface. Now if I go back to our disk here, the disk A here, I can just drag and drop the Q file onto IsoBuster and we can see the contents just like before. So the difference with IsoBuster and WinCDEmu is with IsoBuster we can actually extract the contents. So you can see here I've loaded disk A, I can see all of the contents inside, and this is how it's laid out on the CD. So that's pretty cool, right? If I go to disk B as well, I can just drag and drop that on there. We can see the contents of disk B. And from here we can right click these and extract the contents. We can extract it as an ISO. We can do all different things with this. So it's a pretty powerful tool, but it's not really necessarily associated with mapping virtual CD-ROMs. It's more so accessing our data and having a look inside the images here. And we can work with a bin file directly. We'll try and drag that on there or double click it and open it. We don't need to check for a new version, and IsoBuster has sort of worked out what the tracks are from the bin file itself. So with this we don't necessarily need an associated Q file to tell us how the tracks are laid out. IsoBuster can sort of assume this information from the bin file based on various algorithms and things like that. So pretty cool, huh? I think the key takeaway here is if you want to emulate your images into virtual drives, use WinCDEmu. You can also extract the contents manually yourself. If you want to extract the contents completely, almost like a bit-by-bit copy or an extract an ISO, copy your data, then use IsoBuster. Two different tools, essentially accomplishing the same thing, but it depends what your requirements are. I hope the video helped you, and I'll see you in another video coming soon. Take care.